All right, what it do, family? It's your favorite host, Mike on the mic, keeping a vibe alive till the wheels fall off. And I'm joined by
your girl Sacoya
and that guy Monte.
And we're here for a vibe album review. This time, Ghetto Gods.
Yeah, man.
By EARTHGANG. Man, great album. It was a good listen. I enjoyed myself.
Surely.
Enjoyed myself with the music.
Agreed.
EARTHGANG is always a great time.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Shout out to EARTHGANG. Signed to Dreamville. If you haven't known. Shout out to Dr. Dot and Johnny Venus, a.k.a. Olu. Those are the two members of EARTHGANG. And we're going to jump right into this album because we enjoyed it and we want to get our reviews out. So, track 1, The Glow.
Ghetto Gods. Diamonds in the rough. You know it's hard to see the greatness when they tell you.
All right. So, The Glow, 2 Chainz shows his face early on this album. We sadly didn't get to review his last album because we ain't gonna get into that.
Yeah, y'all know
if
why.
you watched episode 5 of this season, you know exactly why we didn't get into that. Yeah, man. This one was produced by Giandre Diaz, who provided some of the instrumentation in the background. And 2 Chainz does his coming of age story, straight out of the mud story. You know, we came from the bottom. You know, we've heard this a few times. I'm actually glad he was able to get a look on this album because that other album wasn't really helping him out that much. So shout out to EARTHGANG for being generous. You know, ATL in the house.
Yeah, low-key, when I heard this, I was high as fuck. And I was like,
we know better than
all
that.
these Atlanta niggas sounded like.
Yeah.
So I thought it was Olu, and I was like, oh.
Hey, yo.
It's not.
That's not.
2 Chainz.
Like, at all. All right, my bad.
Definitely 2 Chainz. It could certainly be some random unk on the street in
I felt
Atlanta.
I feel like it was nice. Like, he had a nice voice for it. Like, I thought it was a decent, intro for the album.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Atlanta people. You gotta...
You gotta start with a legend. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
An Atlanta legend at that.
Yeah.
He told you what the album was going to be about, I think, so I feel like he did his job. Well, he said what they told him to say, but you know.
He definitely wrote it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Then that song goes into the second song, Ghetto Gods.
Got so many memories that I made on Casket Road. I done gained the world, I ain't never sell my soul. This is God-given, so I thank him as I go.
Yeah, so, Ghetto Gods.
Make you want to keep going, but
title track of the album. What'd you guys think of this song?
I feel like, all right, I always talk about songs where they always, like, hype up themselves. I feel like every album needs a song where you just, at least hyping up what you can do and where you've come and how far you've come. And so I naturally like this album. It might be the Leo in me, as I always say. But my favorite verse was Dr. Dot's, though. I felt like his verse was, not to compare them, but,
Yeah.
What about y'all? Did y'all have a favorite verse?
I think I liked Dr. Dot's verse. I think Johnny Venus' verse on this one was my favorite. If we talk about flow, then I would go Dot, but
As far as
content, I think as far as approach, and he was the first verse I heard, so it kind of stuck.
Like,
It's
the first of the album, so.
yeah, other than 2 Chainz voice, which I think
yeah.
neither here nor there. I don't think the first album or the first
was
voice
about to
on
say
your
that.
album should be anybody else but you. That's just
like
me.
You said that before. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, first and last voice should always be you, always. Which is why Saba did that on his last. Never mind.
Anywho.
Few good things. Yeah. What did you think about it, Monte?
I enjoyed it. I think this song is probably one of the few songs that I think I enjoyed Doc's verse more. But I do like that the beginning of the song just kind of like captured you and just kind of like put me in the mode for like a classic EARTHGANG project. It gave me the feel that I knew I was gonna get from listening to the album, or that I kind of expected from listening to the album. So I enjoyed it.
It's a vibe.
Yeah, I think this was the intro I was expecting. Like, I didn't expect to hear 2 Chainz' voice. I think they could drop that and literally just open the album with
this. It
this.
catch you off guard a little bit, like.
Yeah, it definitely as a follow up to the last album, like it was very much so on brand, like in terms of pacing.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because this song, like many title tracks, and I think it does two purposes. So it's a title track, but it also is the intro. So it, the true intro, I should say, that kind of explains the entire, encompasses the album. And what they're already getting into with this song is like, religion and blackness, I think, is like two big concepts that show their face. And I think that's a really tough thing to discuss, especially in music. A lot of people usually start in church, like Snoop Dogg started in church, rapping and singing or whatever, and then he eventually made, his career, like a lot of artists do. Blackness and Christianity specifically, his family, Johnny Venus's family is Christian. I believe Dot's family is Christian too. Just like blackness and Christianity, and like this tugging dynamic of like, really figuring out what to believe is always present. And I think they start to get into it like very early, and we start to really see a lot of these concepts broken down in the next songs following. That goes to Billy featuring a Billy. Man, that chorus is infectious.
Yeah, it really is. Like,
speaking some shit, because I certainly need that. Right. I need me a Billy. Yeah, at first this song felt like, when I was first listened to it, it felt like it was just about like getting money, But I think they're getting into some deep concepts here without really saying much. They're able to allude into some like tough conversations.
Yeah.
And it leans closer to the age-old story of poverty, and like the struggle of coming up through that poverty, and the things we place around ourselves to like kind of shield ourselves from that poverty in a way. Things that we've used as almost distractions, like we mentioned in episode 6. Our distractions that we use to evacuate the reality of poverty for a minute, whether that be designer, name brand, or whatever we use. I think they're tugging at that, and this features Future, which is like ATL. I think they're keeping it consistent here with like Atlanta features.
Yeah, this song was actually a freestyle.
It's a freestyle.
Yeah.
Which is even crazier.
Yeah.
Wait, was Future also freestyling? Because it felt like
that. I don't know. I just know that they did an interview and they were talking about this song, and they stated that it was actually a freestyle.
That's actually nuts. Like that's actually nuts. Like. Man.
I actually liked the Future's verse. I usually don't. I'm not a huge Future fan, but I liked his verse. But I don't know if it followed the theme like of the song.
It didn't.
Yeah, like it just was him just rapping. Like, so that's why it made me think he probably did freestyle it. Cause
is this a tale of two Atlantas?
The deep and the not so.
Yeah, I mean, I think Future's verse had a
they
really
made it in 15 minutes. Sorry.
Oh, it's interesting.
That's wild. But anyway,
I think Future's verse had a really interesting line though. Like when he made the line specifically about, I can't tell you to slow up on these perks, little nigga. Like, I think that was answering questions like we had talked about on episode 6, Nicki Minaj's interview with Joe Budden. She talked about one of the experiences she had with Future, where he said that I talk about all these drugs, I talk about doing all this stuff, but in real life I'm a lightweight. Mm-hmm. And I think that implication is so crazy to deal with, to reckon with, because everybody based their drug taking off of this nigga. Like, Percocets, fucking Dirty Sprite, Lean, or whatever. Like, a lot of people do that because Future made it hot. And he's a lightweight in real life. And it's like, for him to say something like, I can't tell you to slow up on the perks. Like, who am I? You're Future. Tell me to slow up on these perks. I think he was addressing a lot of the criticism he was getting. And I think that was why he kind of stayed laid back, didn't really talk about drugs as much. He got a gun verse in there, a gun line. But it was only one or two references to drugs, And I think that was intentional. Because I feel like he's getting aware of all the things that are coming his way.
Yeah, and also he might not have been too out of like in line with what like the theme of the song. Because for me, it felt like they were also like delving into like what money actually looks like to people on different levels. So like when you feel me, you see me as an artist and you think I'm paid and I'm making all this money and I'm rich and I'm famous and I'm I ain't got no problems, but I ain't really got money like
right.
You know me?
I got a milli.
Yeah,
I need a Billy.
I really need a Billy. Right.
Give me a trilly. Fuck it. This fuck.
And then same thing with Future. It's like you see me living this lifestyle and you feel me and being this influencer, but I'm not really trying to be that influencer like that.
Right.
I can't really tell you to slow up on these perks. Like
right.
you can do that by yourself. Type deal.
I think he's absolving a little bit of responsibility here, but it's
Don't play Future like he not that bright.
he is the king of toxicity. People literally listen to Future songs to get advice on how to deal with women. Like,
I don't know why.
I don't know why either, but they do it. They exist. I'm telling you. But that joint goes perfectly into another song, which features an Atlanta native and the founder of Dreamville, and the song is called Waterboys, featuring JID and J. Cole. Man, Waterboys.
Who had the better verse?
J. Cole. All right. This is here's the thing. You're not gonna catch J. Cole slipping too many times. All right. Like, he will a lot of the time. I say like 8 out of 10 times will have the best verse on the song. Yep. But it's only because he chooses to. Like, he could choose to sit back and not do it. It's like, fuck it. I'm cool. It's fine. But like, even his not trying days, he's dropping like 40. So it's like, it's J. Cole. What did you guys think about this song?
Probably one of my favorite songs on the album. If not my top song, I think it's going to be number 2.
Okay. What about you?
I like this song. For me, it touched on a few topics. Like, as far as materialistic people, like crime, the hustle, like jealousy. It just touched on a lot of different things for me. Not to mention the people who are in it. Like, of course, they're gonna deliver. So I didn't expect anything less. But it's a great album, great song.
Yeah. No, I certainly agree. It's like I like how it's structured too, because they get into a few concepts and then they kind of allow the other artists, as in G.I.D. and J. Cole, to kind of riff almost based on the theme of the song. Mm-hmm. And it's the story of poverty again, and then it goes into Doc and Olu kind of like referencing the shitty cars they've been in. And some people, I was talking to somebody else about this album who had the impression that the cars he was referencing was all the cop cars that he'd been in.
Yeah,
all the types of cop cars. But I wasn't sure, because it felt like he was referencing all the cars he's personally driven, as in all of the shitty cars that he'd owned before getting the Bentley, before getting the, and because the Chrysler 300 isn't usually a cop car, is it? Because he said pushing the 300 like a Bentley.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's a cop
car. It's a cop car?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
They're all cop cars. So that's why I assumed, but I mean, who knows?
Or maybe he stole a cop car and he pushed it like it was a Bentley. Either way, Atlanta shit.
I mean, they did get kicked out of Hampton for larceny.
Is it stealing a cop car? Stealing campus police car?
Well, I don't know if it was for that, but
that would be nuts. That would be nuts. Like, why did you need to steal a fucking? I seen somebody steal one of those what is it? The hoverboard joints at the
the fucking
the little mopeds. I think.
Hey yo, them shits. Them shits was it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, no, then they get into like some of the egregious things people do for money and how they won't kind of succumb to these things. And then they move to JID, who actually references after the song had came out that 10 is a real cousin of his, and this song is really about him, who actually really got locked up from gangbanging, and like how he feels, how he regrets not giving him more opportunities before he actually did get clipped, and he wish he would have told him more about like playing it safe and kind of keeping his head on kind of a swivel.
But you saying that makes me think, like, because that's originally what I thought of the album, right? It was kind of similar in what is it, Saba or Saba?
Yeah.
Saba or Saba's album, and telling people stories, like telling the true stories of like the people around, especially now during the pandemic, just how people was grinding, how people are hustling. Like, from me off first, like, listen, that's kind of what I got from it. Like, really just telling stories about the community that we've grown up in and that we all kind of know about and lived.
Yeah, like JID's verse, I like it a lot because he does something like the Sabbath album, does a really good juxtaposition between like where I've come from versus where I'm at now, and it's able to kind of compare these things really really gently, I think, because at the end of JID's verse he references the fact that like living his life in LA, and it possibly could be more messed up than where I'm referencing 10 got locked up at. you know, and probably not because of the violence, probably not because of, you know, the crime, but like just the lifestyle in and of itself. And I think that's an interesting thing to get into. I'm actually looking forward to that new album, The Forever Story. Shout out to JID. I'm looking for that.
Because I think this also, like, this song shows the depth that, like, Dreamville really has for a lot of motherfuckers that be sleeping on them.
They got Cap Room.
Like, like, you feel me? We got Cole, y'all know. We got JID, y'all know. But we also got Gang. Like,
don't sleep, man.
Yeah. And speaking of J. Cole, he does it again. He does it again. Oh my goodness. This verse, like, man, it's so many things I could pull out of this verse, but J. Cole, I would just say he did it again. he did it again. And I don't know what order he does his verses in. I feel like he usually does, like, he does it apart, and he just, whenever he pulls up, he's just dropping the verse, and then he just, like, walks out. It's like, yeah, because, you know, this is, you know, and not to mention he's currently swinging at Kendrick, so whatever he drops has to be, like, immaculate. He can't, like, drop any lemons. And then this goes into the first skit of the album, featuring a good friend of ours, DC Young Fly, titled "Hey Boo."
Yo, he just seems like everybody friend. Like, we all just know him.
I'm so tired of these. Yo, I be like, she gone. Even know her name. I be like, yo. Every time she go to the Uber, I be like, yo. I be like, she gone. Going down the street. I'm tired.
Hey boo.
Hey boo. Shout out to DC Young Fly, because he's becoming a staple in our generation.
Big facts.
For real.
And he's doing his thing. Shout out to 85 South Show. And I like him on skits. They need to put him more on skits. Like how they've had, like how Kanye had Chris Rock on his joint on Blame Game. Like, having comedians on your albums certainly serve a purpose, and they can do some pretty dynamic things, especially with skits, so you can make a good laugh or two.
Yeah.
Shout out to DC Young Fly. We'll see him again later.
Of course.
That goes into the very next song, Amen, featuring Music Soulchild.
Going in the air for me, yeah. Show me that you care, you'll always be there. Promise that you never leave. Man, all these hoes really for the street. I ain't judging, baby, ain't got shit to do with me. And I know
all right. Goes crazy.
Yeah.
Goes crazy. I love this song.
You know that thought that we were having, or that idea that we've been having about albums during reviews, that if you really like a song and then the song that comes on like after it or before, you usually don't like.
You don't like it?
I did not find that to be true with this album.
Yeah, at all. Like, I like all of the songs. Yeah, major facts.
Yeah. Man, no, I certainly agree. There's no skips, and I didn't. I would listen. I have to listen to it in order. I can't, like, do double songs. Like, I can't play it back like an individual song. I got to keep it going because it's a part of the story, and I need all of those to connect.
This is also one of the singles that they released.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely like this song. This was produced by Johnny Venus and TB Hits. And it's a pretty dope song. It has a flip of the iconic Just Friends, Music Soulchild record. Who, by the way, sounded really good on this song. Like, I know he's
like
currently
he
singing, but like, he is singing, bro. Like,
Music.
He didn't sound any different from the song.
Album,
Yeah, he could drop another Just Friends right now. Like, what is T-Pain doing with all his old shit? Like, he need to do what T-Pain's doing, like repurposing all his old songs and like making money off of them, doing remix live shows and stuff. Yeah. Like, he need to take a page out of his book, because I feel like he could do a lot with these old joints, like, and make new ones. He still can sing really well. I wonder what he's doing nowadays. I'm gonna see what he's doing.
Quick question: do you guys know anything about the executive producer of the album? KP
Who executive produced it?
KP the Great.
I know that name.
I don't know much about him, so I wondered if you guys did. But
we'll put a photo up of him.
Yeah, well, he executive produced it. So they did an interview where they talked about his influence on the album and how they decided to pick an outside person to come help them, because it's usually them two making all the decisions jointly, and they kind of needed someone who wasn't going to just tell them what they wanted to hear and give them a little something extra. So
yeah. To be fair, I do have a con about this song though. It's specifically about Dr. Dodd's verse. And I feel like it was a bit too on the nose. you know, I feel like there's a dichotomy that's being, you know, on display, like get on your knees, like praying versus like, you know, the alternative. And I think that it felt like Dr. Dot's verse was just literally about fucking. Don't get me wrong, the song is about, you know, oral sex, but like I want to say his last 2 verses were also about fucking, or had some bar in it about smashing shorties. And I'm like, I get it, but it's like, this is the 3rd song, you know, and if that is literally the theme, then like hitting it on the nose is just kind of like, it doesn't do as well for me in terms of like I'm not competing. I'm not making them compete against each other, and I wouldn't. But in terms of who I'm listening for more, it starts to shift because I know, or at least I can expect what's happening now in terms of how monotonous your verses are becoming. I'm not saying it's completely monotonous, but like the subject matter is a little tiresome. Not gonna lie. That song goes into All Eyes on Me.
These niggas lying, these niggas fake. Effing in the glove box, you know I'm concealing it. Racism still alive, now we just revealing it. Niggas talking down, but I still flex. Snakes in the grass, but
all right, All Eyes on Me, man. What did you guys think about this song?
I think, well, honestly, when I first heard it, I thought it like tried really hard to like fit a lot of subject matter, or like I guess a lot of material into one song. But then when I kind of I guess listened to it for entertainment value as opposed to just like scrutiny, like trying to like I guess evaluate the song, I kind of liked it better.
But you're reviewing it.
I know, but I had to like get a full like I guess.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying. Yeah.
So to be honest, it isn't one of my favorite songs on the album. For that reason, I just feel like it was like in some parts like a little too convoluted. Like he was trying to like push all these current events into this one song and like make it a thing.
I could see how you could say that, but I feel like that's what the song is about. Like, well, the song is about the pandemic pretty much to me and how wild of a time it was, and it's pretty much like, you know, if you got a $20 bill, that's a reference to George Floyd, but that's some other stuff. But like, you know, it's about celebrating us and that we've made it here and that we've gotten through this time that's been a lot shaky for a lot of us, and not a lot of people didn't know which way they was going, like money wise, just everything. So I don't know. I feel like I don't think it was too much of a like put into one song personally. I feel like it really was the song that put everything together for me as far as that's what they're talking about, the pandemic and this time for us and was what we've been dealing with.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think just like you said that $20 bill, put your hands up, that's the reference to George Floyd. And I think that this song represents the constant being of a target as a black man, like in America. And All Eyes on Me means that like you just stand out naturally, similarly to how we were talking about, you know, Ryan Coogler. You know, it's just like my black skin makes me automatically targeted, and automatically everybody's paying attention no matter what I do. Like small motion, any small move, it could possibly be my life. And pair that with an international pandemic where it's been affecting your community the most. It's like I feel like they almost had to make a song that was referencing these things because there's some really big issues and everybody's dealing with them. But I do like how open the song felt. It felt like it was a nice not a change of pace, but it was a nice kind of breather in kind of the more fast approaching intro kind of direction of the song. Started with a fucking future verse. I was breathing heavy. You know, but it was a nice change. And they did try to fit a lot of concepts in. There's a lot of quotable lines from this song. But yeah, it's I put it in one of my top songs just because of the little references.
It's definitely outside music to me. Like all of it, I feel like niggas finna be outside blasting it.
That's right.
Like,
yeah,
for real.
Yeah, for sure. That very nicely goes to Lie to Me, produced by Latrell James.
She got a Birkin floss and money well spent. She still in them apartments paying rent. Saturday, Sunday, he got.
Yeah, man, this joint Lie to Me is one of my favorite songs on the album. I couldn't help but feel like this could be on like one of those Jordan Peele Get Out films.
No,
and shit.
for real.
Like, like they could repurpose this to be like a horror film. Like this feels like Get Out. It feels like a Get Out moment.
Like I can hear scream. Actually, there are screams in the background of the song, aren't they?
Probably,
I ain't
yeah.
telling you, man.
Probably. A lot of sound design going on in this song. Yeah, man. This song is one of, and just like one of the previous song we talked about, they tried to like explain the moment, you know, in this song. They try to explain like what we are currently going through, some of the things that are plaguing our community, and like I love this song because like they do this they do the story where they're explaining like a man and a woman kind of doing their own lives, and then they, you know, they're individually lying to kind of get the results they need, and they're living these two separately fake false lives to effectively try to, you know, appeal to each other, you know. And it's like, you know, we're both lying to try to get the true version of each other, and how does that really work? Do we ever really get to the truth? Can we be honest? Can we be true? You know. And what did you guys think about this song? You know, how they set up this dichotomy, and is this one of your favorite songs?
This is one of my top songs. I don't know. They're all top songs. I don't have any top songs this round actually. But yeah, I definitely like this song. Just to your point that you kind of stole from me, but it's okay. I ain't even gonna really go into that. About you talking about he could see it and Get Out. When I first talked to him about it, I said I could see this in like some theatrical kind of like play or something.
And I agreed. I had already thought about it.
Got on here. No,
I had already thought about that when you. Why do you think I agree with you when you said it? I was like, yes, I agree.
You all gonna see my side eye in the beginning when he said it, cause he.
Anyway.
But yeah, man, it's definitely a dope song. It's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites too. I like how full the song is. It just has like a lot of body. You feel me? Even like
a lot of body.
From like when it first starts and like how it grows, like how like the beat grows into the song. I just like how it, just like Sacoya was saying, like it sounds very theatrical. So it sounds like something big that you can hear like in the theater. That you can hear. Just
And
like,
Michael said.
Just like you guys said. That's y'all know me. I'm a very like sonic listener, so this played into my ear a lot. So I fuck with that.
Yeah, for sure. This kind of ends on bars about like a sex worker, how she uses her body to kind of accomplish her goals, and I like how that moves into the next song, or should I say the skit, called Jean's Interlude, featuring JT.
All my bitches pretty, hell, like the fuck. Cases, mugshots, so what about it? Baby, that's the past. Bitches done showed up and glowed up.
That's the past. Tell that to the government.
Showed up and glowed up.
Power pussy. Sorry. All right, go ahead.
All right. I skip this every time. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kidding.
It's a ski, you know.
You know, it's JT. You
I
know,
agree.
one half of City Girls.
I'm
This is the
agreeing.
type of energy she got.
I'm in agreement.
She's just getting that shit off.
At this point, like, if you're still like looking at people and trying to like point at their flaws and their downfalls and bring up old shit and stuff like that, you're a part of the problem. Like, get over yourself. Get a life. I'm in agreement. Talk
Yeah.
your shit, JT, because these people is reckless.
Yeah, man. I've always said, man, people always try to be in artist business too much, like all up in their personal lives. I like the music. It's cool.
And I was cueing my mugshot. What about it?
You feel me?
Nah.
Yeah, I'm nosy too.
Yeah.
I'm nosy too.
You know, a little bit of controversy.
Everybody
here and
got a
there,
little
but
nosy in them. If they say they don't, they lying.
Yeah, for sure.
There are levels to this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That goes into the next song about women, and specifically black women, and their body objectification. Black Pearls.
Got a new body. Pussy got a new lining. Baby got a brand new body. Stars aligning, prices climbing.
Shout out to Baby Tate on this one. Drops the young from her name. Who had a really great album. I actually considered it for one of my top 15 albums of the year.
Yeah, I did too.
Was it After the Rain? I can't remember the name of the album, but I know that I can see the cover.
Yep.
What did you guys think about the song?
It's a banger. All of them are. No, but yeah.
I definitely think it has a high club playability. Is
That's what I was
definitely
gonna say.
like
I
a
wasn't
summer
sure.
song, which is dope. I feel like this whole album is like has like those summer vibes, like just like Sacoya was saying, like those outside drop top, feel me, type of energy. I did like the Baby Tate verse. I'm not honestly not really a Baby Tate fan. I can't honestly say that like I know a lot of her music, so but I did enjoy the verse. She didn't feel like it was like an outlier. She ain't, you feel me? She ain't, it wasn't like something I was like, that was the fucking worst feature I ever heard.
Yeah.
Anything like that. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. I liked this joint. I think it was actually one of the most interesting songs of the album, mainly because of the placement of Baby Tate and like how she was able to rap on theme. And also the song kind of ties up all the stupid like standards that we expect like black women growing in this industry to abide by.
Yeah.
Like it when I started to think about it because of the song, I started to realize how dumb a lot of these standards are and how unfeasible they really are in a lot of these capacities. Like you have to be like almost a perfect girl, you know, and this and not any a lot of these standards aren't held to a lot of male artists who also rap in the same do the same sort of songs. So I thought that was interesting that they touched on that. They also kind of make fun of sex work a little bit. I'm not gonna front. They kind of get into some things that feel like it's almost poking a jab at like just cultural sex work.
What are you referencing?
We'll put it up. Let you decide as the viewer.
Was it may be a reach, but was the one of the last lines in Baby Tate's verse possibly a Nicki diss? That shots joint
Might be a Meg diss.
It's funny that she just referenced that in that interview too.
Yeah,
she felt insecure and she felt like they were bringing around all these big booty women. She felt like she needed to do that, and that's kind of
and it was crazy that
like
she got
theme
ass
here.
shots back in the day.
Yeah.
Now it's like crazy if you don't have a
yeah,
BBL,
like
you
that's
know,
the new
so
thing. Like it's
she's a legacy.
that's the thing. Like if
trendsetter in more
if
ways
I'm
than
a
one.
rapper, right?
Tastemaker.
If I'm a female rapper and they're looking for a certain image. They're looking for a certain image, and that is big breast, big booty rappers or whatever. And I don't have that, but I have the bars, and I know I can go, and I go get that surgery. Well, should I be shamed about it? Like, look, I did what I had to do to get where I needed to go. I personally wouldn't shame you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which I thought was well said. I thought that was really well said.
For real.
Yeah, and then that goes into the next song, Nezis Walk, featuring Lene Vinay.
The scariest thing about being a black woman, you can't close your eyes on the scary parts. You gotta be your.
Yeah, this is a interesting flip on the Three Little Pigs story, and she does this skit where she does her spoken word. I think she's pretty dope. I like spoken word
I do too.
on albums.
Make y'all think about something.
Low-key, they could use Wale for a lot of moments like this, like
They
how
could.
they're employing 2 Chainz to kind of be the opener of the album. They could certainly use Wale in this capacity.
He's like top tier.
Yeah, he's
This
right
is
there.
why I'm feeling like, well, anyway, Wale the problem. Anyway, I hope he's not. Go ahead. I hope he's not the problem.
Hey, yo. Yeah, no, man, this was interesting because I never actually thought about the Three Little Pigs as a kind of an allegory for the colonization of countries and pretty much anywhere that has white people.
Kids that.
And the wolf was a native to the land at which they stole. You know, I never really
Thought of it
juxtaposed
that
those
way.
things. That's actually really interesting because that's really close to where we're at today. Yeah, a little bit to think about. That goes to the next song, American Horror Story.
Another single and another favorite man.
Chew me up, life hard enough, just think about rent, could about my freedom, all the money I spent, yeah. Ain't that some shit, yeah. I mean, for real, all this money we got and we still can't up Flint, yeah. Don't get
Yeah. So, another one of my favorite songs on this album, man,
Talk
this
to me now.
Talk to Me Now. Speak loud and clear. No, and for real, speak very clear. This song discusses like the oppression of like African Americans, like 400 plus years in America, you know, and like the duality between like being lit and like being black in America. And I feel like that's a very I feel like people who are young understand this concept of like being lit, like being woke and being like energetic, being unapologetically black, but having to deal with the racism that comes with America and still trying to be as free as you believe you are. And they get into some of these things, being surrounded by like racism, like we're supposed to, and that's the thing, like being an American, being black means that you're supposed to almost accept racism and like kind of take it on the chin, like just eat that L, hold that L, and we're just supposed to kind of turn the other cheek, like eat the L of white supremacy. And they made this like Flint reference where it really hits on the nose, where we were referencing like I wish we had an opportunity to help a lot of the issues that are plaguing us as a black community. But however, the place that we've gotten to isn't because of our own doings. It's because of like intentional government oversight or non-oversight, or removing finances from a community, or removing like a bunch of things that can cause any predatory practice that can cause a community to become poor and poverty. And this song touches on a lot of those things. What did you guys get from this song?
This song to me was really good. Again, like you said, it does touch on a lot of the topics that we're dealing with right now. For me, the main one that stood out, well, not the main one, but the one that I picked up on just from how the flow was, honestly, but was when he was talking about granddaddy's granddaddy was poor. I'm the first nigga in my family with dough, like with actual money. But I feel like a common theme that a lot of us have, even if we are like poor of the poor, is that generational curse concept. Like we all want to flip this generational wealth, like generational trauma stuff that we have going on. Like everybody wants to rise up from that, and everybody is looking past that. We want to create wealth for our kids to come, like generations to come. Like we're trying to build legacies, and I feel like as a black people, that's what we all have like in common, even if you don't think that we do.
Yeah. I think also like to kind of take a step further. I think it's also kind of like a challenge for everybody. Like that's not everybody, but black people that are going through like that mode of seeking those advancements, to see what you're like actually going towards clearly. Because if you go into it like with like a half gaze on, and you're thinking that you're searching for an American dream, when you're literally searching for an American horror story, you're not really going to be wholly prepared for everything that is going to take to really accomplish what you want, to really get to that end goal, because your mind and your judgment is clouded by this like false narrative of what it actually takes and what it actually looks like to get to get what you want. Especially being a black person, in America, you have to go through so much more, and it's not even what it seems like, or what famous people make it seem like. It's not as easy as what your parents made it seem like. It's not, because the experiences that we have today are not the experiences that they had, or not the experiences that the next person had. So I like I said, I think it's like also like an open challenge for people to like kind of understand their situation, and like I said, just like view the thing as a whole instead of a part.
Yeah, I think it was interesting they brought up Flint too, because I think that was one of the first things I thought of, like really understanding the fight, like understanding how we got here. And Flint is a perfect example, because young black kids need to understand what's going on in Flint. Like Little Miss Flint, shout out to her, was like doing amazing work, bringing awareness to the issue. But like these young black kids need to understand the fight, and they get really confused when Obama comes to their city and drinks water out of a glass. Yeah, he drinks clean water, something that they don't have access to. That he could just get it and then drinks it. And please, by the way, if you've never seen that fucking Obama video at Flint, here it is.
Can I get some water? Come on up here. Give me some water. I want a glass of water. I want a glass of water. Sit down. Where do we go from here? Well, I'm still waiting for my water. Somebody obviously didn't hear me. Hold on a second. Now, the reason I know I'm okay is because I already had some Flint water. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. I really did need a glass of water. This is not a stunt.
But yeah, it was egregious, and I think that is really confusing, and even to like the old folks who voted for him, like who felt like he could have done something, you know, and they still to this day have no running clean water, you know.
Yeah,
it's like it's crazy, but everyone needs to know the fight. Everybody needs to understand how we got here and like what we need to do, to move this. So that goes to the next song, Power, featuring CeeLo Green and Nick Cannon.
We're praising power guns, drugs, misogynation. Fire inside blazing, constantly waking. Me and my demons engaging in conversation on how we finna get paid. But through it all, I place.
Ooh. Joy goes crazy.
He had some bars in this one.
yeah,
Goes crazy.
Mars.
yeah.
It was crazy.
Cannon blasts and whatnot.
Why is Nick Cannon talking over songs like Morgan Freeman?
I don't know.
I just need to know.
Cause he named his daughter Powerful. It matched the theme of the song.
Man, I just saw him in black and white in a documentary segment when I heard this. That's all I saw, bro. I'm just like,
hey, yo. Shout out to CeeLo Green, though, who comes away with the verse of the song, I think.
Yeah, I actually liked his verse the best.
Goes crazy. Goes crazy.
Okay.
Oh, wow, man. How he shine on this. He's also from Atlanta, too, right?
He been through a lot.
No.
You gotta pronounce them T's. Hey,
I
yo.
to the top. Like, okay,
Man.
CeeLo.
Yeah, he was going.
Man.
They looking at you like you a bad bitch. Okay.
Whoa, what happened?
Hey. How did we get here?
My God.
How did we get here?
Yo, I really love his verse.
Hey, yo.
You niggas ain't got no spark, bruh. Just a
Hey,
plug,
yo.
bruh. You heard my man CeeLo.
Man.
I like that song. That's my song.
But like, to get into the song, though, it speaks on some pretty interesting topics. So it's alluding to like the industry and like America's control of like black people and in the media, like black people's media, I should say, like content, and like, and I actually think that
Slave master's business is black.
yeah, I actually think like their fear and or like America's like hunger, you know, is, and I call it hunger because it's like consumption of like black things, like consumption of black culture, whether it's like literal or like, you know, I think that plays a huge factor in today, not just in the industry, but like anybody who's new and up and coming. Like they're literally just consuming black culture and then monetizing it, or what I should say, weaponizing it really to be, you know, the person who puts somebody black outside of their, you know, respective seat. And I like that he brought it. I like how all of them brought it up. I mean, it's about power. It's about like, you know, just like viewing like black men and like black people as like dangerous, like a threat, and like that's to me it's power. It's like, you know, and they need to control that and keep it at bay such that they don't get into the scenario where we're overtaking them, like anybody would have predicted for any arena black people show up in. What'd you guys think?
Yeah, you hit very much on the nose. Like, just they know we don't control shit coming up in small doses. Just like you said, like that their power rests in their knowledge that, you feel me, they have all of the control. They have everything in their hands, and they can allot, you know, all this little small, you know, this little chump change, these millions, these billions, you know, to black families, to black individuals, you know, as they see fit, and take it away as they see fit. And, you know, they just kind of like retain that power, that power, that control, all that sensibility to be able to keep you where they want you to be long enough for them to make as much money as they can out of you.
Yeah,
certainly.
I feel like outrightly when like people want to be famous or they want to, you know, make it in the music industry, they just always have this like dream of like, I'm just gonna make it and I'm gonna be this. But you never really think of, well, they never really think about like how much shit you really gotta go through to actually make it. Like how many yeses you gotta give people to stuff you don't want to do. Like how many times you might have to question your morals and all of this other stuff, like to get to the top, to get to what they consider the top. Like best believe it's a lot of like hella obstacles in your way. But anyway.
Yeah, for sure. It's a bunch of things like that are gonna stop you before you can really make it. And if you like the song, there's a couple books you can read that kind of touch on these topics specifically. One is The Delectable Negro, and two is The Man Not. I know that's Tommy Curry. I can't remember who the Delectable Negro is written by. I know that name off the top of my head, but I can't think of it now. But go look for both of these books if you want to get more into the discussion about these topics. Yeah, Power. That song very nicely goes into the next skit featuring our guy DC Young Fly, and it is called Zaza.
This weed is the Zaza. What do you think we down here talking about the Zaza? You can't go to Jamaica and ask them for Zaza. They're gonna be like, Bumba miss me with the factory. Me don't know no Zaza.
Yo, that's it.
Me no Zaza.
I could just imagine.
Yeah, like I can see him doing all of these skits. I can literally see him doing them.
Like he's sitting next to you. It's like a sketch show. Like he's sitting next to you smoking a blunt, and then you look away, you look back. This nigga got a dreads and a fucking got a beanie.
We don't know no Zaza.
What the fuck you just get this beanie?
Right. With a fucking blood on the side of his mouth.
Shout out DC Young Fly for providing the laughs on this album. They do a good job of changing the feel, so it's not too strong, it's not too like turn up, but it's like it's giving you all the things, checking all the boxes. That skit, Zaza, goes into the very next song called Smoke Something.
When I close my eyes, see visions of my people dying. Every third post.
Ooh. What you guys think about Smoke Something? We talk about Zaza, go straight into the song.
Roll up
about
another one.
rolling up.
Pour out in my name. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's a vibe, classic smoker song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This feels
Nah,
like the
that's my shit.
beginning of the closing of the album.
Yeah.
It does.
It's
It's winding you down. Like, all right, relax now. The other shit had us hype in the club a little bit. But
Yeah.
now we chilling, relaxing, and vibing out.
It's interesting because this feels like one of the first references they talk about coping mechanisms. I feel like this is I think they're using, and I think a lot of black people mention this in their albums. Like specifically a lot of artists that we talked about, like, you know, Earl Sweatshirt, Saba, like they're talking about the ways that they've used weed to help them cope with not just the trauma they've had before they got it big, but now that they are big, they're smoking because of that trauma too. They're smoking because of that pressure and all the things that are kind of surrounding them. And I think it's a responsible thing to do to put the concept of I may be addicted to weed on this album, because every one of your supporters or your followers may believe that, oh, you know, he smokes, I can smoke too, you know, whatever, like the younger kids or whatever. And I feel like that's the perfect way to address, you know, the Pop and Perks allegations, Future. You know, you talk about it in a real way. Like you talk about it in a healthy, you know, in a way that people can actually feel like, oh, maybe I don't have to smoke, and maybe I know that I can be more responsible than, you know, finding myself addicted, you know, because I wasn't paying attention earlier.
It could also be like just like a full encompassing of like the album of like the main of what could possibly be a main like idea of the album is like work hard, you feel me, make your money, perfect your artistry, you feel me, surround yourself with good people, know where you're going, you feel me, see the future, and then relax. You feel
See
me,
the
then
future.
get high. I mean, you know, plan for the future. You feel me? But you feel me, do all those things, make sure that all your shit is in order, and then relax. You feel me? Then have fun, then get high, then pull up another one, then, you know, roll up another blunt type shit.
Yeah. This goes to the next song, which is one of my favorite songs, Strong Friends.
Forever scared to be punished for sharing, might even get clowned for opening up now, but I much rather leave you with no room for doubt. If you don't leave with nothing, hope you get the message. Check in on your strong.
Yeah, man. One of my favorite joints. That bass lick. Boo 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 boo.
That
Man.
song there is it.
Woo! That's the one.
It's even just for the concept that it's the content.
Like literally, check on your strong friends,
like,
bro.
Literally, a lot of y'all got a lot of crap going on with y'all, and y'all just hassle motherfuckers with all y'all problems and stuff, and then don't ask them how they doing or how their day is or nothing. Just inconsiderate. Call y'all peoples, man.
Yeah, man.
Tell them you love them.
Tell them you love them.
Hold up.
This is a vibe for sure.
No, and I think this is interesting too, because just like a song about addiction, you know, when we're talking about black issues and we talk about poverty, we talk about a lot of things, talking about the industry, we're also talking about mental health.
Yeah.
You know, and I think this is a great way to, you know, kind of get into the final actions of the album, of really getting into like, hey, people might even clown me for opening up. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. I do not care. And I'm going to call my homegirl because I know that she's dealing with something. And we're going to talk it out together. This culture of making sure you're good mentally is something that you need to be telling your fans, and especially the youngest of them. So I appreciated this song. And this joint goes to the final track of the album. The final track.
Yes.
Featuring Ari Lennox, called Run To.
Who can I open up to?
Ari Lennox's voice is just like
I
butter.
just love her. She just...
Her voice is
for
like
real.
butter, bro.
I really like this song. I just don't
Shea
like the
butter.
placement of this song on the album. I think that this song should have been placed a little like earlier in the album. It probably, for me, would have had a little bit more impact, and then it would have let us like end on Strong Friends. And
Strong Friends could have been a good ending.
it
Could have been a good ending.
Completion to the album. I feel like personally, taking nothing from the song, I still think it's a good song.
Yeah,
But I just think it was poorly placed.
I can feel it. I
can see that, yeah. For me, I like that, you know, they decided to even get Ari Lennox to do the chorus of it just from what she's saying. I mean, it may not be the main theme of the song, but just like for black women, we don't really have that many spaces where we can go and be free and like open up about things, and people don't come and call us bitter and call us whatever else because we're having a voice and an opinion about something that's actively happening to us. So just her little bit of her singing that beginning of the song, I feel like I like that they had her, you know, do the chorus.
Yeah, certainly. I think they were all in the same booth at the same time. Like, that's what this felt like. It felt like they was all in the same booth, and they kind of like stepped out of the way to get to the microphone, or maybe they got 3 different microphones, who knows. But it feels like this was a reckoning towards the end of the album, where it's like we're dealing with all these concepts, we're talking about all these big issues, and the question that keeps looming over your head is like, you know, in the song's title alludes to, where can I run to? Like, where can I go? Who can I open up to? Like, what a life this truly is, you know, where I literally have nowhere to go. And despite all of that, you know, it almost feels hopeful. You know, it feels as though this song may be, you know, kind of pointing to a lot of these bigger kind of, you know, hard-hitting issues that don't feel like they can be changed overnight, but there's still a glimmer of hope towards the end with like this beautiful voice that's like, it's asking these questions, but it's like, it's really asking. It's not rhetorical. You know, it's like truly asking, as if it's, you know, it's a point, you know, and we will kind of eventually, you know, get to a place where it's not that way anymore. And yeah, I really like the closing of the album. I actually think Strong Friends probably would have been a little stronger.
Yeah, I couldn't
honestly
agree with that, yeah.
I hadn't thought about it. I don't know where I would put the Ari Lennox song in the sequencing though, but you know,
yeah. But
Strong Friends could be
I feel like it's
a strong ending.
Well, at least the theme of it matches for it to be at the end, because like at the end, I'm tired. Like, I'm tired of everything. I'm tired. I'm fed up.
Yeah.
All these white people, like, and next, after motherfuckers get tired, it's over. Like, niggas is finna go ham. Like,
We still got our friends though.
you can't keep poking the bear. You can't keep poking the bear, and then niggas not gonna, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's suitable, like, cause where we go next from here.
So
After all
this
of this.
next album is just gonna be Earth Gang going nuts.
It's probably
Maybe.
all trap joints.
Bangers off
Because
bangers.
this album was pandemic related, a lot of the themes and stuff like that. So maybe they may go ham. Shit, I don't know. Because when you get fed up and tired, you usually
Sick and tired
You usually do some wild things, not
Just imagine in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, when we look back on these albums and we notice all of the references to the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, this is like a stamp in history. Like, this is like a moment in time for like
wild
music.
Time.
And people in 20 years, they're not even going to understand.
Yeah.
People
let alone
died,
50.
They never died
those
before.
references, they're not going to get those.
Yeah, they're not.
That's all.
Man. Yeah.
Like the stimmy line, like.
Yeah, they're not gonna catch that. PPP? What's PPP?
Yeah, PPP, like.
I don't
Unless
know.
there's a reparations check I'm gonna be getting every month, then I ain't.
I might be playing this on repeat. Yeah, man. Well, that was EARTHGANG. We're gonna give our final ratings for the album, and here is our rating scale because I said it 4 or 5 times already. And
you're supposed to say it every episode, man. It adds continuity.
Trash.
You feel me?
Mid. Lit. No, what is it? A vibe.
Yeah.
And what would you guys give the album out of 10?
9.
It's a vibe.
Yep. I would do a 10, but I don't know. I got to think about that. You can knock me off my socks if you want a 10. But I will
10.
I will 9 it. I will stamp it a 9.
What about you, Monte?
I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
What a life.
Okay.
All right, I'm sorry.
Just because I think that the last album offered me more lyrically, and I'm an EARTHGANG fan, so I could actually like. I feel good about this. I feel like you revealed this album. I think the last album gave me more lyrically, but it still had like all the things.
Yeah,
like still had all the boxes checked off. And I think this album, like, it had the boxes checked off except for that one. I don't think it was as like lyrically intuitive as like I'm used to hearing from EARTHGANG.
I would agree.
So I would have to give it an 8.5 for that reason.
It was such a vibe.
and I would give this album an 8. It's a vibe for all three of us. All three of us gave it a vibe rating. However, the reason why I gave it an 8 versus something higher, and I think this is a really great album. I think it was well put together. I think the sequencing was good. I didn't realize the Close Friends ending would have been stronger until just now, which means a lot because I've been living with this album for a while. And the features were really strong. Like, people really showed their faces. Like, they got Atlanta all up and through this album. You know what I'm saying? Kept Dreamville involved. Like, they did a really good job. But one of the things I do look for is lyrics. One of the things I do look for is, what are you saying? You know, like, you got this huge platform. Okay, but what you saying? And I think that's so important for artists not to lose track of that, because a lot of younger artists don't get as much as EARTHGANG does. But I think EARTHGANG still has a ceiling that they haven't hit. And I think that they are like, I think they could put out higher quality lyrics because they have the ability, and they've shown us like 15 times already, you know. So with that, I'll give them an 8. And this is our overall.
Yeah, I just got something really quickly that I agree with that. But for me, I mentioned to Demonta earlier, like, as far as like pulling out lyrics, I didn't really have. There was a few songs where I just really couldn't pull it out because it's simple enough where it's like. But I think that was intentional. Well, I would think that it's intentional just for what the album was trying to portray, and just it being for the people and kind of about just struggles that people are going through, making things palatable for them. Like, I get you don't want to dumb, like, not to say dumb things down, but you don't want to kind of do that as far as for your music wise. But I feel like if you want people, the masses, to be able to enjoy, there are some people who may not get your witty lines that you do say. So if it is an album that is supposed to be for people, then you should at least consider making things that isn't, you know, getting your point across without having to.
Valid point.
Well said. Well, this has been our Vibe album review for the album Ghetto Gods by EARTHGANG.
Yeah.
GG. I go by the name of Mike on the mic.
It is your girl Sacoya.
And I'm that guy Monte.
And this is the Vibe Perspective Podcast, and we are out of here. Peace.